everyone. Welcome to Fabuluex Living with Angela Jones. I'm your host, Angela Jones. Hey, everybody. First week, September, done. Can you believe that? This is really crazy that we're already in September, but it's here. And September means all the kiddies are back to school. To all your parents out there who are so happy that you don't have to listen to the children saying, "I'm bored. I don't know what else to do. I don't want to go to camp." Cheers to you parents. Those days are long gone for me because, as you know, my son is 21, so I haven't had a school-age child in a little while. So I'm very happy about that. And I don't have to deal with a lot of that madness anymore with all the going to, taking their list and getting the back to school supplies and buying new backpacks and all that stuff. But I know that a lot of you out there are still there. Trust me, as someone who's about to have a college graduate, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Because really, the time really does go by really fast. But I do know that when you're in the midst of raising your children and you're working full time, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And anything that you can do to make your life easier needs to be done. And I am all about that, especially at this stage in my life. I am all about trying to make things as simple and easy as possible. Hence today's show. So today's show is all about back to school organization. And if you know that you have to get yourself together, plus a little person, I only had one child, so I can't imagine how daunting of a task it is when you have multiple children. It's got to be rough. So again, I bow to all of you people with more than one child who have to try to balance all of that. Because now you're back to the rat race. You've gone from, "Mom, I'm bored," the vacation time when they're in the backseat talking about, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" to now you got to run them to soccer practice, and you have to take them to band and all the extracurricular activities and everything that that they're a part of. So now you have to be the carpool mom, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But today I'm going to share a couple of things with you to make life easier, to keep your kids organized, and then some things that you can do to keep yourself organized. So I know in most places, I know in the South, I think kids went back to school last month. Here in our area, I guess depending on the district or the county that you live in, some kids, this past week was the first week back to school. But by now, everyone is back to school by now. So I know we're 1 week in or more. But hopefully I have you'll pick up some tips today that will help you before we get too deep into the new year. I'm sorry. I'm already jumping ahead into the school year. So, first up, school lunches. School lunch, it was a weird thing for me because as you all have probably already picked up, I'm a very picky eater. So I never bought school lunch. My mother packed my lunch every single day. And I know some people would say, "Oh, I'll eat pizza. I'll eat on pizza day." I didn't like school pizza. Ugh. So my mother packed my lunch every single day. So if you have a finicky eater like moi, you may need to come up with some different things that you can pack for your children's lunch. So we're going to dive right in. So I found these adorable boxes at Marshalls for $6, and I love this system. It's called Sistema, and it's a really nice plasticware like Rubbermaid, but the brand is called Sistema, and they have these really cool lunch boxes. And actually, just FYI, since I don't have a child, all these little lunch boxes I'm using for myself because, again, while you're organizing your children for school and getting everything together for them, you could be doing the same for yourself. Because lunches, if you work in a major metro, anywhere really, but if you work in a major metropolitan downtown area like I do here in the city, it is expensive to eat lunch out every day. I mean, I spend on average $12 a day on lunch if I eat out. And I'll be honest with you, most of the time, I don't even like that food. I really don't. I don't end up it's definitely not worth the money that I spend. And a lot of times it's not as healthy as it should be too, as opposed to when you make your own things. So Sunday it's the perfect day to kind of get yourself organized as we're moving into the week. This is the day to kind of get you into gear so that you'll be organized for yourself and for your children. And even for those who don't have kids, there's some tips here that I think you can pick up for yourself that'll help you out during the week. But for starters, school lunches. So what I did here, and this is such a cute system. Dizzy, can we get a close-up of the box? I want to kind of show everybody. So it's just a regular box. There's no handle or anything on it. It's just a regular box that your kids can easily put into their backpacks. And I filled each section with something like there's a sandwich here on multigrain bread. Really? Yeah. Ooh. And then I put some nuts in here, some little pistachios in here. I put a homemade fruit cup with pineapple, raspberry, and strawberries. And then I have some carrots in there. And it's great. And then everything just snaps. You can pack it in little, Andre's backpack, and boom. And to come up with a name. I have to come up with something off the top of my head. Pack their little lunch and they're set. And what I like about this is that you can fill it with so many different little things. Like for instance, honestly, kids eat lunch so early. I remember at one point, Darius got to school my son Darius got to school at 7:45, 8 o'clock, and he ate lunch during that first period. So he was eating lunch at 10:30 in the morning. So sometimes, kids are picky eaters. Sometimes I would pack some things I would pack a grilled cheese, and kind of keep it in something warm so it would still be kind of a little bit warm for them, in an insulated bag. So whatever that your child will eat, you can do if your child doesn't eat bread, because some kids are so picky, you can easily wrap cheese with turkey or ham and just put it in little wraps, just wrap it around a piece of cheese, like a stick of cheese, stick that in the lunchbox with it. To make the fruit, I did fruit cups, because I had this cup thing going on, but to make this a little more interesting, you can do a whole strawberry, maybe a grape and some pineapple, and put it on a toothpick, and then you have a little fruit kebab. And then if your child eats yogurt, you can have a little yogurt with it, and that can be a dipping sauce for them to use with the fruit skewer. So sometimes you have to get a little creative with kids and their lunches. Another thing that's really neat to do with kids too is my son. Do you remember? Again, I've been out of the game for packing his lunch for a long time now, because as he got older, he didn't want to pack lunch. He wanted to eat lunch at school like all the other kids did. So, but I remember that Lunchables used to make a one that was like pizza, and it was a cracker. You could take a cracker and cheese and a slice of pepperoni and make a pizza little snack. So you can do something like that and create your own Lunchables. I know that everything now is made so easy for you. You can grab Lunchables and different things like that, but there's so many things you can do on your own. You can make, really, this whole little setup here, honestly, you can make that like a Lunchable. Maybe this is their lunch, and then maybe you're putting a snack in here. And you can make it like a Lunchable kind of deal where you're putting some pepperoni and some crackers and some cheese in there for them so that everything is organized. And already set for them. Because these days, kids even have to have stuff for daycare. I remember the whole daycare thing, you have to have another snack for them too. So you're really packing something. When you leave them in the morning, you're packing stuff for them to have all day long. So you definitely want to make sure that you're packing things that they're going to eat. And if they're super picky eaters, just try to make it look as creative and fun for them as possible, because as I've said a million times, we eat with our eyes, and kids really do. So trying to make it as colorful and as fun for them as possible is very, very helpful. So those are a couple of little things for lunches that I wanted to show you, those little boxes. And then I wanted to show you some products, some actual things that I like to have in my lunches, and some things that I think are also kid-friendly too. And I mentioned the cheese sticks. These are great. Kraft, a lot of different brands make them. Sargento makes them, Kraft makes them, but they're cheese sticks. And they're great. And these are cheddar cheese, and they make them with, then you can also do the string cheese. So they're getting some protein, especially if you have children who are finicky eaters and don't like to eat meat because I know some kids kind of go through that little phase where they don't really want meat, but you want to make sure they're getting protein, and cheese. And of course, nuts are a great source of protein. So doing this is what I was saying. You could take cut this in half and wrap some turkey around it, or cut a piece of ham and wrap around it if they don't want to eat the bread. Because some kids are weird. They're just weird. I'm one of them. I'm still one of them at 49 that does, really picky eaters. So I won't say weird. We're going to say they have, what I want to say? They have very selective palates. I like that. That's what we're going to say. So yeah, so definitely doing the string cheese or the cheese sticks and have that in the lunch is a great thing to have, whether you're an adult or a child. Baby Bell also makes these cheeses that are delicious. They're really, really good. And you can get these, of course, in your dairy section, and they're really, really tasty. And this is already wrapped, so all you have to do is just grab one, put it in their bag, and go. So that's another great thing to have as a snack. The grape tomatoes are another great snack. If you have a hard time getting your children to eat a salad, maybe just slicing cucumbers and hummus. Maybe putting some grape tomatoes and making a skewer with grape tomatoes and cheese and, something like that to make it a little interesting for them to kind of slide in those good for you foods in there for them. So that's another good snack. And then also, as I had mentioned, pepperoni. This is actually I mentioned the whole cracker and the pepperoni and the cheese because that's one of my go-to snacks that I carry for my lunch sometimes. And I bought this at the deli, so it's fresh pepperoni, and this was little less than a half a pound, and it was only $3. And it's better than getting that processed one. I mean, of course, pepperoni is still processed, but it's fresher because they've got it. They cut it at the deli for you. So again, a good snack for, like I said, for kids, but also for us adults too. And then, of course, I have our whole fruit. I happen to be a Granny Smith apple lover. For your kids, if it's easier for them to eat it with peanut butter, you can use the same little container that's in the lunch box and put some peanut butter in there or almond butter, slice it. And a good tip is if you want to keep the apple from browning, put a little lemon juice on it so that it won't brown. So you can do that for your kids too. And it's also a good snack again for us. So I'd say sometimes when you're busy and you're packing things for the kids, you can be making the same things for yourself. So really good snacks. And then I have these really cool, of course this is for adults, energy drinks that are blueberry and pomegranate. They're not, I wouldn't say they're not for kids because it's not like a Red Bull or anything like that, but something like this I would probably just pack in an adult's lunch. That's just me personally. Kids don't need all that extra caffeine and stuff like that, so they're hyper enough. So yeah, so we're going to take a very short break, as I get everything set up for our next segment and have a few more ideas as far as organization, so you can have everything already ready, quickly accessible as you're packing things, and then some really good tips on some things you can do to get you prepared for the week. Right back. Welcome back, everybody. So, I talked about all those snacks and everything. I had a few more snacks I wanted to share with you that I love, that I also think that kids will love too. And I also want to talk about some ways to keep all of those snacks and everything really organized for you. So, a couple of other things that are great to have are granola bars and things like that. And my new favorite, so good, are these Nature Valley almond butter bars. They are so good because I'm trying every now and then to try not to eat like, you know, go downstairs and grab a candy bar or a cookie or something like that. And this kind of gives me that feel of something that's not so bad, sort of kind of healthier than having, obviously, than a candy bar or a cupcake or a cookie or something like that. So granola bars, whether they're filled or not, another great filler for your kids. Then like just small bags of nuts, like I said before, almonds and any kind of nuts are great sources of protein. So these are some really good Blue Diamond almonds, and they're all natural, so they don't have any salt on them or anything like that. And they're just little 100-calorie packs. Again, something great for the kiddos, something good for you too. So that's another good one. Then, I don't know if you remember a couple of months back, I shared with you my love for Tate's cookies, the cookies that are made in the Hamptons that are so good. They're really crisp and thin and really yummy homemade chocolate chip cookies. Well, they've now started making, they call them tiny Tates. So they're like maybe about the size of a quarter, like little miniature cookies. And these are great snack sizes to put in lunches. Again, for you and the kids. So this is a great little snack to have too. And then I just have popcorn in here because sometimes I'll just put a bag of popcorn in my lunch because sometimes like after lunch I want something that is salty and I don't know, I just need a little snack. Like I don't want anything sweet, but I want something salty, and I can always go to the microwave and pop some popcorn. So popcorn is a good snack to keep on hand. And even if you're buying the bags of popcorn, if that's something that your kids like, Smart Popcorn is a good brand. And Angie's Gourmet makes some really good popcorn choices too. So those are also some really yummies. No affiliation. I wish, but no. And then I just have some crackers here because like I said, you can use some just plain, butter crackers to create that snack for the kids with the cheese and the pepperoni, or you could do it with turkey or ham, or just if your kids are vegetarian, with just peanut butter, whatever. So it's a different things that you can do with just having just a few little snacks on hand. But one of the tips I wanted to give you is not only is it good to have all the snacks, but it's also good to have everything organized, because that, my friend, is where all the chaos comes in. If you have to go and pull everything from between the pantry and the refrigerator and everything isn't organized, that can be disastrous. And it can be really, it puts a lot of pressure on you. So I bought these really cool baskets that are great for the pantry, $10 at Home Goods. And you can kind of have everything neatly organized so that you can have everything ready. All the snacks can be ready, and have them all together in the bin. I have two of these, and I have one at home, and I have more like sweet snacks in it, and then I have one that has like savory snacks in it. And it's great because I can just grab and go. And it's just for me. I mean, there's no one, that lives with me, so it's just for me, but for my own purposes for packing lunches and things like that, or when I'm on the go and on the road, I can just easily grab a bag of nuts, or a granola bar, or a bag of cookies, and keep rolling. So it just really helps to have everything really organized. And these clear bins are amazing. I have these in my fridge at home, and they're great because what you can do is you can label each bin, like whether you have it for, like I have one that's like for baking, and I have like cream cheese in it, butter, and different things like this. But for the purposes of for school lunches and snacks, you can have everything that you need together. Let's say that you needed to have a sandwich, you want to have all the condiments and everything together for making your sandwiches. I would have, my mayo, my mustard, my lettuce, tomatoes, my deli meat, everything in here, so I don't have to go from every bin in the fridge. Everything is in this one container. Pull it out of the fridge, make your sandwiches for, For me, I only make sandwiches like for like a maybe 2 days in advance, and I take all of the wet stuff off, like the lettuce and tomato, and put it in a separate container. I don't make sandwiches for the whole week. That's just my own little quirk. But anyway, you can have everything all organized. I mean, juice boxes, the yogurts, everything is all organized. And these bins, I got from Home Goods for $5.99. And you can, like I said, you can have multiple bins in your fridge and keep everything so organized. And it also helps too so that food doesn't get lost in the back of your fridge, because you can easily just slide these out, place them right back where you need them, and nothing gets lost in the back of your refrigerator because you're using these containers. So these are a lifesaver. I say it's worth investing in getting about 6 of them. Is all you'll probably need for a standard size fridge. And then maybe some smaller ones I brought. I don't know what I did. Oh, it's over there. Anyway, there's one that's about half this size that I use to put like skinny things like drinks or fruit cups or applesauces for the kids. You could do that kind of stuff to keep everything very organized. That is what's going to save you from feeling like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do with, kind of getting back into the back to school mode. So while I was kind of doing my planning for the show, I looked up, I came across Good Housekeeping's tips that they had for getting organized. And again, it all starts with getting organized on Sunday. This is the beginning of the week. Right about this time, I say, hey, start getting things into gear so you won't be so crazy as the week rolls along. So Good Housekeeping had an article out in July entitled 9 Things Smart Moms Do on Sunday That Make School Nights Easier. And I just want to quickly run through those things and share them with you. Yay, thank you. So first up is they plan a week's worth of outfits for you and your kids. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, but tell me, that is insanity. When you're standing there in the closet and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to wear? I have nothing to wear. And you have all this stuff in the closet, but you claim you have nothing to wear. But if you plan it all on Sundays, it does make your life easier. I've been doing this for a long time. My mom laughs at me. She says, are you still planning your outfits on Sundays? I'm like, I sure do. I plan them all out. If you go to my Facebook page, I have a Facebook post that I did maybe a little over a year ago, where I showed how I had everything planned out. I had everything planned out down to my jewelry for each outfit, the shoes, everything is all lined up. So go to Fabuluex Living, look it up on Facebook. I'm not lying. This is what I do. This is what I do. And it makes me happy. When I leave here on Sundays, when I leave the show, I go home and I plan out my outfits for the week, because it's one less thing for me to have to think about when I get up and get going in the mornings. I have very busy days, as all of us do. And the last thing I want to think about is trying to figure out what I'm going to wear. So take that off your plate and take it off your kids' plates. If they're not in uniforms, you definitely should be planning their outfits on Sunday. And I know kids are weird. I don't want to wear that, blah, blah, blah. And it may change. And it even changes with me. Sometimes I pull an outfit and I'm like, I'm not in the mood to wear this today. So what I do too is I always plan like my 5 outfits for the work week. And then I always have 1 or 2 outfits in reserve just in case I change my mind or the weather changes or something like that. So do the same thing with your kids. For my son, I used to have like this cubby thing with all the days of the week, and I would fold all of his clothes and put each day in his cubby. And he would know as he learned the days of the week, and he would pull his clothes out and we would roll and we would get out the door. So that's something else that you may want to look into also. It's just finding like a cubby that'll fit. It was a collapsible canvas cubby with all the days of the week on there. And I would fold up his clothes and put everything in the little cubby. And as he got older, he could pull out everything on his own. And, so also a cute little way for them to learn the days of the week too. So the next thing on our little list here is plan your menus and post it. Now, I know that's hard, but I'm telling you again, I talked about the whole grocery shopping show a couple of months ago, and that's another thing to do is as you're grocery shopping, plan what you're going to be cooking so you only buy the things that you know you're going to be preparing for that week. So post the menu. So you know what's going to be prepared. The kids know what's going to be prepared that night for dinner. It makes it so much easier. I have a chalkboard at home. And, sometimes I used to put like little inspirational little things on there for my son, or, little inspiration for me sometimes, or whatever. But most of the time it was just nice to have a little message up there, a little post up there about what I was going to do for the week for lunch. And for dinners rather. And it just made life easier. So definitely think about a bulletin board or a chalkboard in your kitchen, or even if you just print it out on a piece of paper and post it on use a magnet and put it on the refrigerator. Just a way so that you can kind of stay organized too. Next up is they organize moms on Sunday nights. They empty out the backpacks. Anything that you may have missed during the week, or anything that got put in on Friday and you just hadn't had a chance to look at it. Make sure that everything is all clear for the week. Any, forms that need to be filled out, especially at this time of the year. You're filling out all the forms and all the record stuff and any notes that may come in from the teacher. You want to make sure you've cleared their backpacks of all of that. Permission slips for field trips. I have to admit, a couple of times, at the last minute, my son got ready to go. Well, not a couple of times, but one time he got ready to go on a field trip, and I did not have his permission slip. And this was in high school. But thank God for technology, because I signed the permission slip, took a picture of it, and then I texted it to his teacher. So the stuff you have to do. But thank God for our phones. So it came in handy. But when he was younger, this was way before the phone thing came into play. So anyhow, make sure if you do all that ahead of time, you won't have to worry about it. The next thing that they do is they write a to-do list. It says map out your top 5 priorities for the week and then delegate anything that someone else in the family can take care of. So plan everything out so that you can feel like you can prioritize all of the things so you don't miss something that really matters. And those are I'm going to just leave. I'm just going to stop right there with those, because those are the main ones that I kind of really wanted to highlight. It's just many things that you can do to really, keep yourself organized so that the work week and the school week is already chaotic, but anything that you can do to make it a little bit easier is a huge help. So one of the other things I wanted to share with you before we left today is quick dinners, because, by the time you get up in the morning, get yourself together, get the kids together, you get to work, you're dealing with all of the demands that you have at work. Then by afternoon, like I said, you're wondering, oh my gosh, and you have to go back home and do it all over again. You have to prepare dinner, review homework, it all, so you get them ready for bed, blah, blah, blah. It all starts all over again. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is just a really quick, again, a one-pot supper. And it's something super simple that kids love, and it's a better version of it because it's a classic one, but it's a better version of the one that we get in the box that's, with the orange stuff in it. And I'm talking about macaroni and cheese. But you know how Kraft makes the one and you put the powdered fake cheesy stuff in it? Well, I have a homemade stovetop mac and cheese that is so easy to make. I mean, basically, if you're like me, when I was raising my son, I wouldn't even get out of my work clothes. I'd come right in from work, have him sit at the table, do your homework, and then I would immediately start cooking in my work, in my work dress, and just start rolling and start cooking. And I'm telling you, by the time you have your son or your daughter set up with getting everything organized for them to, start tackling homework, this mac and cheese recipe is done in no time. And again, instead of using like that fakey stuff that's not good for them, this has, cream and butter, yes. So it's not healthy per se, but it's a healthier version of mac and cheese. So, and it's super easy. You make it all in one pot and dinner is served. And if you were like, my son too, I couldn't get him to eat a lot of stuff, but I could always get him to eat mac and cheese and chicken tenders and a vegetable, like broccoli. That's about all he would eat. As far as green vegetables, that was something if I got him to eat some broccoli. So this is a great dish that you can easily make and pull together for your family. And hey, tomorrow's Monday. Sometimes for me, I like to do a meatless Monday. So something like this is actually going to be on my table tomorrow for dinner. Because it's quick, and like I said, sometimes at least one day out of the week I try not to do any meat. I think I've mentioned that before. And I usually do it on Mondays because normally over the weekend I've been really bad and I've been eating a lot of stuff. So then on Mondays I try to just kind of have salad and maybe something like this where I'm not eating any meat. So, hey, this is something that your kids will enjoy. So definitely check it out on the website. It's really yummy. And then too, sidebar, if you did want to add, some meat to it, you can easily add ham to this. You can add kielbasa, or you can fry some bacon and crumble it on top if you needed to do that for your kiddos. But simple dish. So check out my creamy stovetop macaroni and cheese recipe on the website. So that's another little dinner tip. And I just wanted to finish up, too, with some other little things that you can do just to kind of make things a little easier for you in the mornings, going back to the mornings. One of the things that's really great that you can do is you can, I don't know if your kids eat them or if you eat them, just boil some eggs, so that you can make sure you're getting breakfast and you're getting some protein. You can do the hard-boiled eggs and get a little, crate. I have a little ceramic egg crate at home, and make them on Sunday. Put a few of them in this really is good if you have a big family, and just make a dozen of them, and if your kids eat them, or your husband eats them or whatever, and you eat them, just boil a dozen of them. And then you have breakfast. You don't have time to stand there and scramble eggs or anything like that. Boil a dozen eggs, put them in an egg crate or in a bowl, and just sit them there, and everybody can grab and go. That's the name of the game, Everybody doesn't have time in the mornings, to make pancakes and these elaborate breakfasts in the morning if you've got to go to work, but you can boil eggs, have some fruit at the ready, granola bars, yogurt, and, crumbled granola so you can make parfaits, anything that can make it really easy for yourself. That's the name of the game. So hope you learned some really good tips here today that are going to help you get your kiddos off to school with a nice healthy lunch, and then when they get home they can have a wonderful healthy dinner prepared for them. And hopefully you got some things too that you can kind of do to help you prepare a healthy lunch for yourself too, and some healthy snacks and all that good stuff. So I pray that your children, all the children out there, have a wonderful school year, that they learn lots of new things that are going to help them in life and help to make this world a better place. So that's all I have for today, everybody. Short and sweet. I will see you next week, same time. Blessings.